Okay, guys, got to make sure all the levels are right because we are using a twin system tonight. All right, I'm going to go with that right there. I'd say we're pretty decent. Tonight, guys, we're reviewing a Cort. If you don't know who Cort really is, this is Cortex. Cortex makes guitars for a lot of brands.
Who wrote the theme song?
I actually wrote all the lyrics and stuff for the theme song. So I wrote all the music in our two bands that I was in that did originals. So I'm pretty good at writing lyrics and doing changeovers. Glad you like it. Cortex, what most people don't realize, they are the world's largest guitar manufacturer. They make more guitars than the name brands combined do. I know it's a shock. This company makes millions of guitars. They make a lot of guitars. So they have an in-house brand, and it's just called Cort. Okay? And, I remember, in the 80s, Cort guitars. And they were decent guitars. And everyone just, it's a Cort. But they were decent guitars. And then the 90s come around. And people are like, oh yeah, Cort's getting a little better. And then the 2000s come around. People didn't realize that this company was making Ibanez. They were making a lot of different brands. And then the word started getting out that Cortex was making all these brands. And they are like the world's super guitar builder. And they can build everything from a very budget instrument all the way up to an extremely high-end guitar. It really isn't about can they. It's about how much that particular company wants to pay Cort, okay, when they farm out an instrument for resale. And then Cort builds that instrument within those specifications. It can't be too good and it can't be too bad. They find that spot that Fender and all these other companies, Ibanez, PRS, that they want to be in, quality-wise and price point-wise, and then they manufacture that guitar. They are quite capable of making, sure quality guitars, custom shop quality guitars at any level. So this guitar right here is a 280 Select. It's a beautiful instrument. Had the opportunity. Linnell went to Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia. Shout out to those guys. If it wasn't for them, I believe this is probably our 7th guitar that we've reviewed from Shenandoah Music. It's probably 7 or 8. Really need to say thank you to those guys. That really helps this channel out. It prevents me from tying up funds and then having to resell the instrument. That being said, if you find yourself wanting this guitar's MAP price is $5.99 because this is the Select one. It has a prettier top, nicer pickguard. They did some little upgrades on the Select. Okay. They also have another guitar, which is at a higher tier. I don't quite know what the price point is, but they have 2 of them. And they're basically the same guitar. I think the other one has a little bit better pickup, maybe a little bit better tuners, just a slightly better model. Reach out to them. They'll cut you a really good deal on these. These guitars are fantastic at their price point. They truly are. I've played this a little bit before the stream, and I can say it's a player. It's a good player, and it sounds good too. If you're familiar with the channel and you thought I was just gonna pick up this guitar, wail on it, and tell you it had Alnico pickups in it, I'm sorry, you landed on the wrong YouTube guitar review channel. This channel is known for doing highly detailed reviews and going over the fit and finish on the guitar. I'm a firm believer that you work hard for your money, and you need to know how well is the guitar made, how well is it put together, and then we're going to get some demos. All right, to start out with, what should we start out with? I guess we'll just do fit and finish. I need to mute the guitar channel. I hear it clicking in the background. We're going to unplug the guitar. So, looking at the guitar, it does have a Rosewood fingerboard. Okay? And let me holler at the dog. Riley! It's summertime. They want to go out and play. We do have a Rosewood fingerboard on the guitar, and I like that. I think we're getting back to Rosewood. A lot of companies had switched to Indian Loyal. I like the Rosewood. I like Rosewood. I like ebony. Yeah, it does cost a little bit more than Indian Loyal, but it's so much prettier with Rosewood. It's just a prettier neck. So we do have real Rosewood. And this is an alder body. I'm pretty sure it's alder. We are going to go and we're going to do a spec check. So let's look at the specs on the guitar. Oh, wrong page. Look at that. All right, here's our spec check. So the neck is bolt-on. Our body material is alder. It is a flame maple top. Scale length is 25.5. It is a hard maple neck. The neck shape is an ergo V shape, and I can say it feels nice. Neck thickness, they're claiming, is 21 to 23. We're going to verify that. Rosewood is the fretboard material. And something I really like is this compound radius. It's 12 to 15.7. So you can still get your cowboy chords, but then it flattens out so you can play leads. It's a 22 fret guitar. These are medium jumbo nickel silver frets. Inlays, white dots with white side dots. The bone material is bone. They're claiming it's a 42 millimeter nut width. Truss rod is two-way adjustable with a spoke nut. Tuning machines are Cort staggered locking tuners. And this has a Cort proprietary CFA3 bridge. Pickup configuration is humbucker single. And these are the VTS63 and VTH77 pickup. I'm pretty sure the VTS63 is the humbucker. Controls, we have one volume, one tone, and a 5-way switch. It has chrome. It's shipped with D'Addario EXL 120s. It's a matte finish. I'm going to say it's a little shinier than matte. We're going to go semi-gloss finish. I believe that's in error. Body finish is gloss. Oh, okay. Gloss. Okay. The neck finish is matte. Okay, that makes more sense. Colors, we have amber, trans black, and trans chameleon purple. The trans chameleon purple is freaking awesome looking, just so you guys know. They didn't have this one in the purple. It's like a pink purple, and it changes colors when you move it. It goes kind of gray. It's freaking awesome. When you open up the box, you get the Tremolo Bar. You do get a spoke wheel tool. There's the spoke wheels right here for adjusting. They give you an extra tremolo spring and 3 Allen keys. Okay? So I know where one of them goes is for the bridge. The little small one, I'm assuming, goes right here. And I have no clue what the third one's for. When we look through the guitar, we'll try to locate that medium-sized wrench. But as of right now, I'm really not understanding what the third wrench does. And just so you know, I did read these are stainless steel saddles, and it has a steel base plate and a machined block. So when we open it up, we're going to see what the block's made out of. So let me look at the binding on the guitar. You can see it's a beautiful back. Look at that. So we do have a binding all the way around. And then looking at the binding, it has a nice sharp clean edge on the cut line. We do have just a little bit of discolorization right there. That actually could be a grain issue, because I see there's a little bit of a light stripe right here in the grain, and it could be that that piece of grain just happened to hit right at the binding. But I do see a little discolorization right there, right under the binding. It's taped off extremely well. Not seeing any discolorization or bleed over. It's nicely done. Feeling it and feeling the side of the guitar, I'm looking for chatter marks or sanding errors. Maybe they had chatter and they had to sand it out. It's very nice. It feels nice and square and even. Looking at the top edge of our binding to our laminate, got a little spot right there where I can see a glue line, and it is very small. There's a little spot right there. And again, right here, right on this little really tight radius right here, I see a little black epoxy. But it's nicely done. Looking at our top, okay, it doesn't specify whether it's a solid or a veneer. And I'm looking for how the top morphs. I'm going to say that this is a veneer. There is a little bit of shift, but not much. Usually a thinner veneer won't give you the shift that a solid top will. That doesn't mean that a solid top will always have a lot of shift, but usually when you cut it down and you put a thinner piece on it, you do lose a little shift in the veneer. But it is a very pretty flame maple top on it. Looking at our center section, because it is two pieces, and it is dead center between our third and fourth saddle, looking at the seam right here. Same with our end button, it's dead center in the seam line. Since I have the guitar here, I'm going to look down the neck at the frets and look at how the neck is set to the bridge, and it is nicely done. In other words, the neck isn't sitting this way or this way where it has more space on one end or the other. So they have set it to the bridge. Looking at the neck pocket, this side is tight. And that side is tight. Our pickguard is also tight to the neck on both sides. And there's very little overhang on the Rosewood fingerboard to the neck. I can see that the neck stops. Look at this tool. The neck is stopping right there. So it only has about 1/8 of an inch overhang, and our pickguard line is coming just under the Rosewood. So it's just underneath there, about a 1/64 of an inch right here. But why am I bringing that up? If it goes too far in, you have to loosen the neck to get the pickguard out if you want to do modification. So on this one, we do have a little bit of room back here. So once you take the strings off, you could take this pickguard right off without loosening the bolts on the neck. just in case someone has had that issue. I have had guitars where you have to loosen the neck and slide it out. Fender was bad for that. Looking at our route right here for our truss rod adjustment, I can see the maple and the rosewood joint. It's extremely clean. I don't see any tear out. This edge is nicely done. Something else I'm noticing is that the fingerboard has been eased. I can see the sanding chamfer on the side of the neck. It's nice. Checking our pickups. This is very solid, no rock. Very solid, no rock. A little bit of rock in our humbucker, but it returns to 0. Now we do have a 3-ply pickguard, and I like 3-ply because it's much stiffer than a single ply. A lot of guitar companies, if they're wanting that vintage feel, they'll do a single ply pickguard, but it's not as durable as a 3-ply. A 3-ply is much stiffer, much more durable. Looking at the chamfer around it, don't feel anything. Feeling our screws. Don't feel any burrs in the screws. And the pickguard is tight to the body everywhere. Now, something I am noticing, we do have 3 different types of screws. We have the screws holding the pickguard. That's a very short panhead screw. Then we have a large dome head screw that's holding the single coils. And then we have a smaller dome head screw holding the humbucker. Our humbucker cover is a nice silver brushed finish. I kind of like that. It's very similar to the bridge saddles, because the bridge saddles are stainless and they have a brush finish on them as well. It's not the same, but it has that same look. Our 2 chrome knobs, no push pull. Checking our knob. Neither one of them are rubbing the pickguard, and they feel smooth. They feel like they're the same potentiometer. Nice and smooth. They're not friction free. Now, looking at this, if you know me, I don't do Strats because Strats volume knobs are way up. This one is pushed back just a little bit versus the Strat. So I have to see if during my playing style, if I hit the volume knob or not. It is a little further back than a Fender Strat, but it still looks like it may cause me an issue. But it's very easy to reach your pinky down just like that while you're muting and control the volume. We do have a 5-way switch. And there's about a 32nd of an inch left to right, so about a 1/16 of an inch total deflection in the switch. It feels like a box switch. I'm not sure what's in there, but it feels like a box switch, but it is smooth. A CRL switch has more of a click, but it feels nice. I don't think you would ever have a problem with the switch jumping out of position. Looking at our tremolo bar, this is a push-in bar. See? Just push it in. There's a little set screw right there. And what you want to do is you want to try to get it tight enough to where it doesn't fall out. Okay? But yet loose enough to where it falls down by itself. But doesn't fall out. So it appears that they do have that correct. Now, if you want to tighten it and you want to slap it out of the way, you just loosen this or if you want it to be more floppy, you can do that. But if you make it too floppy and you move the guitar upside down or in a strange position, the bar will fall out because it's not a threaded bar and it's not captured with the nut. So please keep that in mind. Now let's go down our neck. Oh, let's feel our tremolo. I forgot about that. This is a squared off saddle, but it definitely feels like they put these in a tumbler or something to break these edges. None of the grub screws are sticking out past the saddles, so the bridge is extremely smooth. That's something that really gets me. I don't really care what price point guitar it is. When you go from a 6mm to an 8mm to a 10mm grub screw, there's no difference in cost. There's no difference in that cost. It just comes down to the manufacturer take enough time to get the right screws for that particular product. I like it when I pull a guitar out of the box and all the grub screws are right. And I know that is a simple thing, but that's one thing I don't have to mess with. And they had enough forethought to put the right grub screws in. So I like that. Filling the screws on the back, everything feels nice. The bridge corners are machined, nice and smooth. And it is a very, very, very nice plating on this bridge. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to check a microphone here. Okay, I think that might be a little better. Okay, now this microphone should be on. When I stepped over here, I noticed the volume went down in my headphones. I think that's going to pretty much cover our fit and finish on the top section here. Let's go down our neck. I'm feeling our frets. There are no sharp frets. This has a basic dressing on it, but they have chamfered the fret this way, and they've done a slight chamfer around the arc of the chamfer. Looking at the polishing on the frets, they're not super polished, but they have a nice matte sheen to them. And feeling the frets feel nice and smooth. Excuse me. Looking at our inlay dots, looking for filler. Inlay dots look nice. And they're sanded even to the neck. Yep. And our rosewood's a really pretty piece of rosewood. There's no streaking. It's a very nice, even color. Just enough grain in it to make it look pretty, but no really light streaks. If you like that, that's cool. I think if you've got a light streak through it, it needs to be balanced. I see some of these guitars and it's got like a white one line through it, and that looks kind of peculiar. As long as it's balanced, I like the streaky look. This one has just enough of the light going through it to where it's good and balanced, but it's not so light that it looks streaky. It's a nice piece of rosewood. Feeling our rosewood to the back of the neck and the side, I cannot feel the transition. It's nicely done. And the neck on this guitar, I know they said 21 to 23. It has a thicker feel to it. This, I'm going to say, is more of a C profile than a D profile. We do not have a volute right here. And feeling our consistency, it's not quite the same. I feel a little bit more grit right here. Yeah, just a little bit more grit right here and right here. It's not rough, but it's not exactly like the back of the neck. The back of the neck is extremely smooth. And it's got a really pretty grain on it. It's got a little spot right there. You guys see that? that's not in the grain. It might be. I don't think so. I think that was something that got on the wood at the factory. It's got a little blemish, like a little dark dot right there. I don't feel it, but I see it. That could have been something, someone had oil or something on their finger and touched the neck before they cleared it. I'm going to guess on that one. Looking at how our ramp comes around, they have done a really nice job of blending the neck to the contour of the body there. It's about 1/8 of an inch. So it's not this big, huge, flat shoulder. They have contoured this around. We do have locking tuners on the guitar. Pretty cool. And these are the short. See how short they are coming out of the headstock? It's exactly what I put on my Ibanez. And it does help the rake angle on the guitars that have the straight neck like this. That's not kicked back. We do have one string tree, and this is the barrel string tree. Very nice string tree. And feeling our logo, we can definitely feel the Cort logo. It's very pronounced. Feels like some type of metal that's been glued on. And this is a G series, it says right there, G series. Looking at the chrome on our tuners, that's nice. I like these tuners. They just say Cort, so they are Cort branded. I like the knurling on the knobs. And these do not have a set screw. Look at the tuner. It doesn't have the screw that locks it in. Have you guys seen that? That's the first time I've ever seen a tuner that doesn't have the set screw that's made like that. It's kind of unique. Feeling our nut to the neck. It's flush, but I feel a little sharpness right there, where they didn't quite round over the edge of the nut right there. Top and bottom. But it is cut flush to the neck. But they didn't break the edge right here. Just pointing it out. Okay, let's traverse over to the bottom of the guitar. So we have 4 screws, and something I don't think I've ever seen before on a guitar. I noticed this when I took it out of the box. I want you guys to pay attention to this one screw right here. All right. It is way sunk in to the body. See how far that is sunk in? So they've counterbored the screw way in. So from here to here is a good 3/8 of an inch, and this screw is only about a 1/16 of an inch down. So I'm going to guess that we have 3 different length screws. I'm going to assume these 2 are the same length. This is going to be the shortest one, and this is going to be a medium length screw. I don't think I've ever seen a manufacturer counterbore a screw, and it's because of where this contour leads in, because they've sanded so far in. If that screw was up here, the side of that ferrule would be sticking out of the hole. You see that? So it's way into this contour. Feeling our back plate. That is definitely a single ply. But it does feel like it's tight and down even to the body. Okay, since we have the guitar upside down, let's check out the routing on the back of the guitar, guys. Let's see how clean it is, and let's look at this machined block that Cort was so proud of on their website. let's see what they're crowing about. Let's see if it's just marketing yap or if they've actually done something special in here. Since this is a live review, I apologize. I cannot go into squirrel mode. But you're here because you want a different kind of review on a guitar. And I am very happy to accommodate that. Yep, it's single ply. And it is bored out right here, so you can put the strings through the bridge. So yes, that is definitely a machined block. Let me turn it around here. It's very clean. And this guitar, guys, was done. Is there a chamfer? No. So the seat of this route is parallel with this. But looking for step over marks, there's one right here. That's kind of a strange one. It does this. So there's also one right here. So this routine right here is a different routine than this routine. And it's coming back and it's cleaning this step for the shoulder. And they're off a 64th of an inch. Right there. But other than that, that's the only step over mark I see. And technically, that's not a step over mark. That's a change in routine. I don't see any step down marks here. It's very clean. They have the two screws on the claw set in properly. And looking at our solder joint on our ground, looks nice. It's well done. Let's put our cover back on. And when you put this cover on, it's down flush with the guitar. So they have taken the time and put that rabbet in there for that to set flush. And I know you guys are probably, well, it doesn't matter to me. Does it affect the guitar and make it sound better? No, it doesn't make it sound any better. It's just they've taken a little extra time and routed out that section of the guitar for that to sit down flush. Sorry guys, my throat is killing me this week. You've probably noticed in the last two streams that I've been coughing. Been playing in polystyrene spray at work, and it is, as they say, killing me. That's a nasty chemical. But I was told that it was better for me. Nasty stuff. Okay. I think that's pretty much going to conclude our fit and finish. I would say that the guitar is made very well. This is a very nicely made guitar. The top route up here, everything's really clean on the guitar. It's well manufactured. So unless we find really bad setup issues and it plays like poopy or it's got crappy pickups in it, I'm going to say that this is turning out to be a pretty nice guitar.
Would you think the Cort factory has made the most guitars out of any other factory in the world, at least in the last 45 years?
Cort has. Cort is the largest guitar manufacturer in the world. They make more guitars than the top 3 brands combined. You could probably put the top 5 brands that make their own instruments, and Cort makes more than all of those combined. You could probably put 6 in there. You can't fathom how many guitars this company makes. They make for everybody. It's crazy. They have multiple plants and multiple skill levels. So the work is delegated out across Cortex according to what that vendor or manufacturer is willing to pay them to build their product for them. You know, this guitar isn't made in the PRS section. Cort built a special building and tooled it up just for PRS. And there's other buildings that are tooled up and built just for other manufacturers. That's all they make is this. That's all they make is this. And they have that particular thing down. The Cort is the largest guitar company in the world by far.
Are you going to take the pickguard off or measure the pickups?
We're going to measure the pickups. I can't, the guitar's on loan. So I really shouldn't take the neck off the guitar and completely disassemble it, guys. It's different if I purchase it and I resell it. But since this is a brand new instrument, we took it out of the plastic. I took the plastic. No one has touched this guitar, okay? I don't want to do that because then the guitar is technically for sale. Does that kind of make sense, guys? And I do have a little bit of a restriction. If it's something that was already on the floor, maybe a return, you know, someone didn't bond with it, I would take the neck off of it. One, these reviews take longer because I got to go into squirrel mode. So if I was going to take the neck off the guitar, we'd be here for 3-4 hours. We really would. It gets crazy. It's really just too much to go over in one setting, if that makes sense. But this is easier for me. It doesn't require the editing. And I believe that you guys like it this way because you get a true fact. I don't edit any of them. And some of the reviews we go off on a tangent, but I leave it that way because I don't want someone thinking something was covered up. Plus, you get to see my facial expression. Sometimes people say that that's quite funny. Especially when we get how do I phrase it, a POS. You can pretty much read my face. We're going to start out in our bridge position. And I'm going to switch camera angles. Let's see. I don't remember which one this is. Nope, that's the wrong one. So we're going to switch cameras again. Something I am trying to do, guys, is get multiple camera angles. Look at that. So here is our first reading. This is 20H. Well, before I confuse you guys, let's go to 20K ohm. We're in the bridge position. Volume's all the way up, tone's all the way up. And this is a hot one, 15.85. So let's check our Henrys if you live across the pond, and inductance, 6.33. That's a nice pickup. It's got some copper on it. Sorry about the cameras. We are upgrading cameras soon. That's a nice pickup. That's got some wire on it. It's got a good reading here. That's a nice pickup. Now, whether or not it sounds good, I have no idea. So we're going to check the resistance and the Henrys on our second position. That's going to be our humbucker and our single coil. So that drops us down to 4.45. Our Henrys, 1.95. Okay. Still a decent reading. In our center position, 20K ohm. We've got 6.11. Henrys and inductance, we have 2.63. That's a nice reading on that pickup. Going to our neck and center pickup combined, 20K ohm, we have 2.99. Henrys and inductance, 1.39. Wow, okay. I'm liking that one. In our fifth position, we have 5.77. Henrys and inductance, 2.71. So out of all the pickups, this particular one seems to be wound the less, according to the meter. These guys, remember what I always say? They're numbers, okay? Numbers mean nothing if it sounds like, but they should sound pretty decent. I say this a lot: check your pickups, get a feel for what you like, and it'll put you in the ballpark. I've done it, and there's been times where I'm like, wow, these pickups are going to sound great, and I didn't like them. Okay, I think it's more about checking to see if they cheated and put strong magnets on it. When that second number goes way high, they're putting less copper on it and using very strong magnets. So that's a way the companies are saving a little money. Okay, to do this next step, I do have to take that off.
Jupe said Avery send it to me. Just tell them the dog ate it.
Tell them the dog ate it. I got a dog. He's not a beaver.
Are they ceramic?
I don't know. We'll have to go to the website and find out. So in pound ounces, we have 7 pounds, 15 ounces, exactly. Went too far. And in grams, that's 3,600 grams. It said 3,602, but now it's at 3,600 even grams. It doesn't feel heavy. I mean, like Les Paul heavy, but you can tell it does have a little weight to it. Alder isn't basswood. It's not pine. It has a little mass to it. Okay. Before we go too much further, let's check action height from the factory. And I hate to say it, guys, been doing a lot of work down in the shop, and my metric gauge is downstairs. So if you live across the pond, you're going to have to use your calculator and convert, because all I have is my imperial gauge. So on the 12th, we are exactly at 0.070 on the 12th, low E. And the high E is at 0.065 on the 12th. So I'd say that's a pretty average factory setup. It's not high and it's not low. Pretty average setup. Let's go over some widths here. Okay, I guess we're going to start out in inches. At our nut, we have 1.67 inches. And that's going to convert in metric to 42.42. At the 12th, we have 2.0335 inches. Conversion into metric, 51.66. And our very last fret, in inches, 2.2155 inches. And that converts to metric to 56.28. Now, our string spacing, I'm just going to try to get it as close as I can. Between the two E's, we have 1.3865. And in metric, that's 35.23. And our string spacing at the base, .055 inches. And in metric, 52.21. Now I'm going to loosen the strings, which is going to really screw us up when we go to demo the guitar. We will take a break before we do the demo. That'll give it a little bit of time to settle back in. Might not be able to, these are locking. And there's not a lot of room to get underneath there. Oh, we got it. Now they claim 21 millimeters. In inches, we have 0.8225. Let's see how close they are to spec. They're pretty close. 20.88. They claimed 21.
Is the pickguard the same white as the binding?
It's a little whiter. The binding is more of like a cream. It's got a little cream colored, and this is more white. A little bit of difference. Now up here, they're claiming 23 millimeters. We have 0.9075 inches and 23.06. Ibanez, pay attention to that. That's an inside joke. I'm just going to put a little pressure on these so they don't get too wacky. That's very close, guys. Remember, all that's done by hand, and that's, I mean, 0.06 out from factory spec. That's crazy accurate. Even the top was very close. Got to bring this back up to somewhat tune. Oh, it would help to plug it in. I'm like, why isn't it changing my tune? The fun of live reviews. It's close enough to where it can resettle while we do the rest. Close enough. Okay, next thing we want to do is check the factory for its how much relief they put in the neck. And it does have a little bit of relief. I'm going to say 0.4, 0.5 millimeters of relief. 0.5, somewhere in that ballpark. That's about where I used to set my necks, but if you've been watching the channel, you know, here lately I've been straightening my necks completely straight. Kind of shifting out. I still have some guitars that are right at this spec, so I'm kind of feeling it. I think what I'm thinking now, it really depends on the guitar. Some guitars seem to like a little relief. Some guitars like a perfectly straight neck. As far as me playing it, I'm not going to say I can't feel it, because if I make a change and it feels better to me, I'm going to stick with that. So it might be one of those things where if you put a little relief in your guitar neck and it feels better to you, that's the way you should set it. If you set it perfectly straight and that feels better than the relief did, then maybe you should leave it perfectly straight. I think that's a preference thing. Okay, guys. I hate to say it. Oh, one thing we do want to check. They said 12 to 16, right? We want to verify the factory radius. I do not have a 6, I think they said 16.75. Do not have a 16.75. I have a 16, I have a 17. Here's our 12, that's what they're claiming it is. So I'll put all these over here. These are StewMac gauges. And I know what you're thinking, well, StewMac's expensive. But you get what you pay for. And I like these because you can do quick and dirty setups. You can put this right in your guitar like this. Okay? And you can do your setup based on that. So looking at it, yep, it's definitely flatter than 12 there. Let's bring it up to our top. Yeah, it's 12 there. So we do have a 12 at the top. And I think they said like 16.75. So let's just try a 17 and see how close it is. That's pretty close. Let's try our 16. Yeah, it looks like the 16's a little bit better fit. I'm going to say, well, it's kind of in between. I'm going to say it's like 16.5 according to the gauge. I think they said 16.75. So we're going to call that factual. That is what it is. Pretty nice. Okay. Fret rocker time. And before you all say, well, your neck's not straight, it's 0.5 millimeters, guys. This tool is checking this distance maximum. So in 25 inches, we have 0.4, 0.5 millimeters of relief. There's no way that this tool with these little tiny straight edges will ever pick that up. Next, if you're putting your tool on your guitar and you're doing this, you're doing yourself a disfavor. This is how you check frets. You're going to take your tool, you're going to apply it to the frets, and you want to push on either side of the fret rocker, and you want to apply pressure to see if the fret tool rocks. And since the string's on the guitar, I'm going to move to the string, check center, move to the string, check center. Why do they do it the other way? They could say they check the frets without actually checking the frets. When you slide it across like that, it's just going to ride on the two higher frets. If you don't apply pressure to the low side, the fret tool's not going to rock. So I'm just applying pushing, 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 pushing. And if it rocks, there's a problem. Frets have a nice feel to them. I can feel the tool slipping on the frets. That polystyrene guy's just killing me. I'm itching. My lungs feel like they're on fire. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much Gorilla Glue and water sprayed through a gun. It's awful. This one's not rocking, but I felt something. That's okay. Sometimes we just have to go back, double check what you just did. I'll start talking and not paying attention. I'm like, oh, okay, is that doing something funny there? Just take your time. We're not out racing. This is supposed to be a hobby. And for some people, they make a living doing it. For me, I find it relaxing and enjoyable. I didn't play for about 10 years and wasn't the same person without playing the guitar. The guitar is really something that allows us to vent frustration, love, sadness, pretty much everything, aggression. You can voice that right into your guitar playing. It's an outlet for us. First spot. And it's really small, but there is just a fraction of rock right there. So from below the E string down to the G center, it's just barely rocking. Most guys wouldn't call that, but there is a slight amount of rock there. And I'm not getting it on either side of the fret. So this was our bad fret here that had the spot. So on this section and this section, I'm not detecting anything. So that's telling me that that is definitely a high fret. It's far better to have a high fret than a low fret. If it rocks, moving it down one fret, you have an issue. Because now you have to sand all the frets to match that low fret. And that's something you don't want. So how many people have a Cort guitar that's branded Cort? And how many people have a Cort guitar that's branded Ibanez or ESP or Schecter. Kind of curious. They make a tremendous amount of guitars.
Doesn't the music store check and set up the guitar before it's put out on the rack for people to play, referring to Shenandoah Music?
They do, but this guitar was never put out, and this guitar was never taken out of the plastic. So they know I like to look at the guitar beforehand. So that's what is so special about this one. This one has not been altered or tampered with beforehand. So I had to take the plastic off the pickups and everything on this guitar. And right under the E string, right there, we have a little bit of a rock right there. Yeah, right at the E, that's the 22nd fret. So we got one spot right here. This spot up here, it does rock, but I'm telling you, no tech is going to call that. This one, I think a tech would call that one. So I'm going to call, we got 1.5 spots. And this one's from below the B all the way down to the E. I'd say that's tremendous. So what Shenandoah does, a good replica company will take the guitar out of the box. They're going to do a general inspection. They're going to do what I did. They're going to look for dings and dents, okay? If they see a ding or a dent, they're going to call the vendor, okay? If it's not bad, maybe they'll put it back out on the floor as a discount. They're going to check the action height. They're going to check the neck relief, and they're going to play the guitar and see if it has any buzzing frets. At the specified, every guitar manufacturer has a specified action height, like Fender, Gibson. They say set their guitar up to this spec. Now it's up to the music store whether or not they follow the guidelines of the manufacturer or not. If it buzzes, and they say it buzzes, and Fender receives that guitar and it's set up lower than their specification, that's not going to cut it.
Didn't the Donner DST 500 have several unlevel frets?
I believe it did. It's a Donner, okay? It's a budget guitar, okay? And Donner can make a good product too, but when you make a product at $200, there can't be much hand time on it. There can't be. The reason I think this guitar is showing so well, this guitar is $599. Cortex makes it. It's a Cort. They have X in it. If Ibanez commissions Cort to build this exact same guitar, it's going to be more. Because Ibanez needs to make a little bit of money. Then the music store needs to make a little money. So this guitar doesn't have the name brand on it because it didn't go to Fender or Ibanez or ESP or Schecter or whoever else Cort's building for. You're getting it at their cost plus their mark. Now that mark is a little higher than the mark it would be going to Ibanez, but then Ibanez wants to make a full mark on the product. Does that kind of make sense? So this is fantastic. This guitar's map price is $599. This is, I mean, you don't want to say, well, I expect a product. It's $600 guitar. It should have good fretwork. But what I see mostly at the $500 to $700 price mark, you usually have 4 or 5 frets, maybe even 6 that are, so it won't be horrible, but it'll be a little better than a $400 guitar and a $300 guitar. This is nice. I really expect this type of work, anything over 1,000. So it's, as far as the fret leveling, it's punching above its weight, if that makes sense. This is $599. The Ibanez Gem's at $550, and it's far better fretwork on this than the Ibanez Gem. Okay? Trying to think, do I have another $600 guitar to compare it with? The Yamaha RevStar. It had a couple spots. Okay? Again, a $550, but within $50. trying to think if you guys watch the channel, you could think of any other guitar that's only had one spot at this price point. That's pretty good. You really can't complain at that. You just got to get past the name. I mean, look at it, guys. What does this look like? Change the headstock. Put an Ibanez AZ headstock on this. I'm telling you. Basically the same guitar. The AZs with the basic body, they're $550. If you get an Ibanez AZ with this nice top, it's going to be in the $900 range. $850, $950 for the Z. But look at it, that's what it is. I mean, it's not a perfect body, duplicate, but this is spec just like an AZ Ibanez.
Iceman also had unlevel frets.
Yes, it did. This one here is really easy, guys. You just take a fret kisser, and I wouldn't even mess with this with these strings. When I go to take the strings off the guitar, if this was my guitar, I would put my fret kisser on here, and I'd clean this one fret up, okay? Level it, recrown it. Now, whenever you do a touch-up, it's really hard to get the finish on that particular fret to match your other ones. This is kind of like a matte finish that feels really smooth. I like this finish. So I would try to get it as close as I could and try to polish this one to kind of make it match. If not, I would have to go through and just maybe fret eraser all of them to bring them down to the exact same consistency. But yeah, it's only one fret. It's really easy to fix. Guys, are we missing anything? We're really trying to be the best guitar review channel on YouTube, which I think we succeeded a long time ago at that. But you guys need to spread the word. This channel is here to review products that I feel are good, solid products. That's what we want to look at decent products at decent price points. I've said it, mate, I work hard for my money. So if I'm going to spend $500 or $600 on a guitar, I want to know what I'm getting. And like I said, unless I plug this thing in and it sounds awful, this is a well-made guitar for $599. I don't see where at that price point where they could really. If I want to get picky, I think that maybe the inlays on the neck a little plain. But I would much rather have this colored dot inlay than the fake Polaroid stuff. The really fake, cheap looking like they put on the gym. That looks awful. I don't care for that inlay, that material. It's like I don't know what it is. I would much rather have this, or just a simple white dot or black dot. And they've done something simple here. It serves its point. I like it. We've also got little placement dots on the top up here. And something that we missed, I see filler on every fret. So this was cut all the way through, and that tang goes through, and they've cut the tang back just a little bit and put filler in.
Is the nut cut correctly?
We do need to check intonation, don't we, guys? See, you guys are letting me skate on the intonation. That's part of the setup. So I do have a tuner right over here, and I have to change camera angles. Oh, that's the same camera. Oh, I was right. Sorry, guys. You just couldn't see the tuner. For whatever reason, that one doesn't want to work now. Okay. Well, for whatever reason, that camera now has decided not to work, guys. So I'm going to try one more time. Nope. It says, I do not want to cooperate. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to cheat. And I'll spin this camera around to our tuner. And you guys just won't be able to see me checking. So there's our tuner. I don't know if I can add this window to the other one or not, guys. That's awful. I did have it set up so you guys could see me on both. So it is tuned 1/2 step down. We're not going to allow that. We are going to tune each string to standard and check the intonation. So this is our low E. You know what, guys? Hold on for a second. Please excuse the shaking. Actually, you know, before I get you guys dizzy, because I've done that before. I've disconnected cameras and you guys are like, oh my gosh, we're spinning, we're spinning. I am going to take this camera and put it on that tripod. These cameras, if you're a YouTuber, do not buy them. So this one's already died. We're going to shut it off. Okay. All right, that's much better. Look at that. Now you guys can see the tuner and you can see the guitar. I did have that set up with that tripod, but just one of those things. So here is our low E. Okay, I'm going to bring it up to tune. Check on the 12th. So it appears to be a little flat. Let me bring up all the strings, because that's going to change our bridge position. And this is a floating bridge, guys, so it moves both directions. That's probably pretty close. Let's go back to our low E, get it in tune. On the 12th. Now do you see what happened there, guys? We were set to 1/2 step down and the intonation was out. So the guitar from the factory was set up in 440 tune. That's why I tell people, if you're going to set your guitar up a 1/2 step down, keep that guitar 1/2 step down and set your intonation for that tuning. It doesn't affect it that much. It doesn't affect it tremendously.
Here's a super chat.
Ooh, who gave a super chat?
Annoying critic.
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Annoying Critic. That's really what funds the channel, guys. Because YouTube doesn't pay anything. On the 12th. That's pretty close. Now let's check our First fretted note. Wow. That's really good.
Billy said drop C tuning needed, chug metal a must.
I'm not really a good chug player, Billy. There's our intonation on the A. You can see it's a little flat. Open. Just a fraction flat. First fretted note. Yeah, that's really good. I know people will sit here and tell you, oh, you got to measure to get your nut height right. Yeah, in a generic world, you can do that, but you want to try to get your first fretted note and cut your net to where the guitar is tuned properly. That one's really good too. That's our D on the 12th. Open. First fretted note. Yeah, the setup on this guitar is done well. G on the 12th. Here's our first sharp note. That's open. It's a fraction sharp. Still really good. First fretted note. And it's a fraction sharp. So if you brought the G into perfect intonation or close, it would be a little better. Let's check our B. B on the 12th. Open. First fretted note. And a fraction sharp again. Guys, I'm saying, believe me, that's really good for a first fretted note. Check your guitar and you will find that your guitar is nowhere near accurate across the fretboard. High E on the 12th. First fretted note. Yeah, this guitar has a stupid good setup. How can you complain? Is that setup for everybody? No. A setup's up to you. But from the factory, to get the nut cut that closely and the intonation that close, come on. I've seen $2,800 PRSs that aren't set up that good. I know, I just fixed one. So you can't complain. That's a good setup for a $599 guitar. And it's hit and miss, guys. It really is.
Wicked Fester said low nut action makes fretting easier, but intonation is the name of the game.
It is, and there's a comfortable balance there. You know, if to get your first fretted note right, your string height can't really go past 0.08, okay? Because what ends up happening, you've got to cut your nut down so much to get your first fretted note right, but then it varies. Your height is so off here when you push down on it, that changes the pitch of the string, which affects. There is a sweet spot. If you go too low, it's just as bad as going too high. You know, I really think 0.06 to 0.07 is pretty much a sweet spot as far as setups. If you stay in that ballpark on the 12th and then cut your nut to where this first fretted note is extremely close. Now, when you cut the nut, it's going to change this. So if you hit this and it's sharp, okay, you want to start, let's say you want to end up at 0.065. Set this up at 0.07. Check it. Because when you cut this nut, it's going to lower the string just a little bit here. So start high. Once you cut that nut, you can't go up with it. If you're at 0.065 and you get your first fretted note very close, and this is 0.065, the guitar is going to play nice. You know, and it's how you play it. If you push hard, you know, I've gotten pretty good at a good average pressure, you know, when checking these. If you're a hard player, this guitar is going to play sharp. If you're a real light and delicate player, it's going to play on the flat side. So a setup is really up to the individual. You really need to set your guitar up for your playing style.
Is it Vox time? It's almost 9:30.
It is Vox time, guys. This is a very detailed review of this guitar. When we come back, we are going to plug this guitar in and we're going to listen to it. If you like these highly detailed videos on guitars, I try to be the best on YouTube. We go over the wood types, we go over the specifications, we go over the fit and finish, we check first fretted notes, we check everything on these instruments that are truly important if you want to know where your hard-earned dollar is going. I try to do that. If you like it, please go down, hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. We work very hard here. There's so many people, I think, that would like this channel that don't even know it exists, that someone on YouTube is taking the time and reviewing instruments like this, that it's not a paid infomercial for the company, okay? Shandor Music doesn't care what I say about the product, okay? They're allowing me to review it, and another plug to those guys. Without them, we wouldn't have this guitar to review. So please reach out to them. I don't care if you're buy something simple or something complicated, they can ship it to you. If you live in the Shenandoah Valley, go by, see them, tell them Avery sent you at Music and Gear. I get no commission, no kickback, no nothing. But it's my local store, and they're good guys, and they like this channel. Here's proof. You know, what else can you say? I've got a great local store. So if you have a local music store, hit those guys up first. Support them. You're going to miss them when they're gone. Trust me. You can go in and play the guitar before you buy it. We've gotten so used to order and then see if we like it. I've never heard of that. We always would go into the place, play the thing, see if you like it. If you liked it, then you bought it. To me, that just makes perfect sense. You can only do that at your local store. So please go to your local store, give them some love. And if you live near Shenandoah, please get some products from those guys. They're great, great family business. All right, guys, we're going to take our it's probably going to be a little bit longer break because I've been talking a lot. But when we come back, we're going to demo this guitar. We're going to play it in clean, crunch, and high gain. And we're not going to spend a tremendous amount of time, but we're going to play the guitar in each one of those settings and see how well it sounds. All right, guys, 5-7 minutes, something like that. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat during break. And when we come back, let's take a listen to this guitar. I think we're going to be surprised. The pickup reading's pretty good on it. Leave some comments. I got to make sure I hit the right button. I think it's this one. Okay, guys, something that we didn't go over. This is the box the guitar came in. And you can see that it's got little styrofoam corners back here. Had a double protection on the top. And they've got a corner section here that had the goodie bag on. And, of course, the treats for the bass player. Never forget about your bass player. Since 1960. So here's our guitar. And instead of starting out in the clean, let's do something a little different tonight, guys. We are going to start out in the dirt. Let me bring the HX Stomp edit up. It says it's connecting. Still says it's connecting. and it says it's not connected. Okay guys, we're going to go back to intermission. Let me reconnect it. It's a USB cable. So give me 1 second to fix that. Not sure what that was about. It was plugged in, but it didn't want to connect. Kind of like that sound. It's a little too gainy. Let's pull this back up. Give it a tune. I kind of like that setting. But we are not starting there. Try to stretch the strings out a little bit, guys. We did have all the strings loose. Still a little too much on the output. Channel volume. Still need to go through, guys. If you watch the channel, you know that we are making changes on the setup. It'll get better each week. The tremolo has a really smooth feel to it. make one more change. It's got a nice feel to it. It's mean sounding. And this pickup was reading almost 16 on the 20K ohm. So it's definitely bitey. All right, I'm going to check tune on it one more time. All right, we had all the strings loose, plus I switched it from half step down to 440. So let's do my little ditty that we always do. That'll give you guys a reference of what this guitar sounds like with something you've already heard. It's got an articulate sound. Gotta take a break for this, guys. That break time's never long enough. So if you like hot cocoa like I do, it also helps to have a loving, funny honey that does things for you. It's got a really nice breakup. It's got a nice sound. I think I'm still probably a little too hot. Let's turn it back a little bit. Much better. Each week we'll get the gains set a little better. articulate. I like it. Let's go up to our second position on the high gain. You can hear it's got a little quack to it. Got that single coil. Little quackiness to it. Let's go up to our third position. I like the third position. Oh, got a little, well actually that was fifth position there. Must have hit it. Like it. Let's try the little ditty. Fourth position. I think that setting, that's number 4. I think that's going to be better in dirt. That's got a little too much quack for high gain. Let's try our fifth position. Quite quacky. All right, let's change up a little bit, guys. Let's do some crunch. Bridge position and crunch. Second position. I like it. I'm misfretting a lot. That's got a lot of quack to it. Third position. Fourth position. fifth position. Kind of like the sounds. It's very quacky in the second and fourth position. The third position and fourth position are kind of more airy sounding. I don't know. It almost sounds like they might even have something going on, like they've reversed one of the pickups in 4 or 2. You hear it's kind of got a nasally sound. It's quacky. In the second position, this would be a really good guitar to be in a variety band, because you can go from the nasally right to a...
Jupe said it doesn't look like the volume knob is an issue for you on this guitar.
I am hitting it just a little bit, but it's not as bad as a Strat. But I have hit it a couple times. That's why I'm going down and checking it. And it's not, I'm not hitting it bad enough to where it would bug me, if that makes sense. This would be a good variety band guitar, because you could, it'll do the really hairy stuff, and the second, third, and fourth positions, you can get some. Well, you guys hear it. You know, it does a variety of things. Let's see how it cleans up. Let's start out in our bridge position. And a little bit too much gain. We are gradually going to fix this stuff, guys. Let's roll the volume back a little bit. It does well. Here's our second position. Could turn everything back up. Third position.
Have you ever been to flipping guitars?
Flipping guitar. No.
Apparently, it's kind of close to our neck of the woods.
I'll have to check it out. We'll have to YouTube it. Or Google search it. This is our third position. That's an awesome setting. That's number 2. Here's number 3.
going through the HX Stomp or the Yamaha?
HX Stomp.
And Trucker Bob said to tell you he can meet you Sunday night and drop off his Ibanez and the EMG pups if you're available.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that sounds fine. Let's go up to our 4th position. Ooh, I already like that. I haven't even played it yet. That 4th position is freaking awesome. Up to our 5th position.
Trucker Bob said, come hungry, I'll treat you two to dinner.
Ooh, I'm liking this already. That means Walmart hot dogs with chili. I'm liking it. There's a Chipotle right there. There's a couple other things real close. There's a Panda Express right there. So we'll work something out, man. These pickups really sound good. I'm highly. These are some nice sounding pickups for a stock guitar. You know, pickups are taste, okay? But I'm listening to the clarity that the pickups have. They sound good. Hopefully it's translating to YouTube. They not only sound good, there's a lot of variation in the way they sound between the selector. And I think the guitar does extremely well on high gain. It does well on crunch, and it does stupid good with some cleans. It's just got a. They're responsive. If I dig into them, they bite. If I play. They're very predictable. They're not surprising me by doing something weird.
Trucker Bob said Texas Roadhouse with a question mark.
Texas Roadhouse.
I
The
think
closest one's
Winchester.
that's in Winchester, Trucker Bob. We can do that. There's one right there on I guess it's Route 11 exit in Winchester. We can do that. That's the closest one.
Potentially Work said, I need to replace a 5-way blade switch. You recommend Switchcraft, or is there better?
Switchcraft is fine. You just want a good quality CRL switch. You know that if you're replacing it, put a CRL switch on it. That's the one that's got the fiberglass side piece and the metal, and it has all the little tangs that stick out of it that you solder to. It's not a box switch. Put a nice CRL on it. Switchcraft is fine, but there's a couple other brands that you can get. That's going to run you probably, I'm going to guess, $20 to $30 for a quality one. I'm going to guess somewhere in that ballpark. You know, you could probably spend more depending if it has gold contacts, but don't necessarily waste your money on that. Just get a good quality switch, you know, CRL, and you'll be fine. The big thing, you want to look at your spacing between your two screws. There are 3 different like stock sizes. So get a pair of calibers and measure your stock one and make sure the new one has the exact same screw spacing.
Tracker Bob said, okay, then I'll park the truck at Walmart in Winchester.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. All right, guys. I'm really liking the sound of this guitar. This guitar has a really nice sound to it. Steve
said Cash makes a good blade switch.
Yeah, they do. Some of the Cash switches are hybrids. It's like a CRL, and then it also has a computered print circuit board on it. They make some pretty heavy duty PC board switches. But if you're wanting something traditional, just go traditional CRL, if that makes sense, like the Fenders. It really depends on what you're going for, if that makes sense. Some of the fancier like Cash box switches, it's not really a box switch, it's not really a CRL switch. The advantage to those, some of those actually have some pre-set up pins to where when you go to the second position, it'll automatically throw one of your pickups out of phase. And it'll say you can run your ground, your white, your red, and your black all to the switch. Okay? Instead of bonding your white and red together, you separate those, and the switch will do it automatically for you. Cash makes some pretty fancy ones that do that. Anyway, back to the guitar. If you've purchased one of these, I need you to leave some comments. This is the Cort 280 Select. The MAP price on this guitar is $599. This is an Ibanez killer, guys. It really is. You're not going to get the Ibanez at $599 that has the top and stuff on it. And I'm going to classify this guitar as a working man's guitar. And I say that because of its versatility. That's probably one of the best guitars I've gotten feedback from as far as when it's right on the edge. This guitar does really well. And for Billy. It's kind of stupid. Had to play it a little bit when it's a floating bridge. So when I noticed when I dropped it to drop D, I played it, it instantly went out. The second time I tuned it, it held. So just putting it out there, this is a completely floating bridge. It did do that, but now it seems to be holding. If you want better alternative tuning playing, you're going to need Trucker Bob. Trucker Bob really does a lot of alternative style tunings. He loves playing in those. Guys, I don't really play in those type tunings. Doing YouTube is making me a more rounded musician. Hopefully you guys have seen over the last 3 years my progression of getting back into playing guitar. I guess I need to give this thing an AVERY score. I'm going to say you really can't go wrong with it. It's a $600 guitar. I wouldn't change anything on it. I think the pickups on it sound really good. They do the high gain stuff well. They do dirt well. They do clean stupid well. The tremolo seems to work flawlessly. It's very smooth. Jupe would probably like the tremolo on this guitar. It has a very, very smooth, easy feel to it. It feels like butter. Yeah, I really like the tremolo on this guitar. The tuning keys also are very predictable. I didn't have any issues with the string slipping out. They've got the string really cut close to the top piece on the locker. The guitar plays nice. It feels nice. If you know the channel, guys, you know this channel is about product information. If you've bought one of these Cort guitars, the G280 Select, I need you to please go down to the comment section and leave me a comment. Your comment will help other people in the future thinking about purchasing this instrument.
Potentially,
I want to know what you got.
potentially work said you have progressed. I need to catch up.
I need to catch up to what I once was. I think when you set the instrument down, some things will come back really quick to you, like in my case, and then other things I'm really struggling. Will I be able to get it back? That's the question. As we get older, you know, our hand-eye coordination isn't as good. And I think a lot of it is our playing styles and our tastes change. What I do now is completely different than what I used to do, but I was a little more accurate, you know, 20 years ago. I find myself some nights struggling a little bit, picking the pickup over the strings and playing cleanly as far as my position on muting the strings, lifting my hand up, bringing the hand back down to mute and then strike all at the same time. There's a lot going on, okay? When you really get to the point where you've got something down, it's not just this hand. This is the most important hand on your guitar playing. Believe me, this is your important hand. This is the not so important hand. Learn how to pick hard, pick light, mute, jump over strings, angle your pick, tuck your pick. This hand's doing far more than this hand. And it's the hardest thing to be able to switch from style to style to style. That's why I spend a lot of time practicing things that are out of my comfort zone. So I'm trying to get better. And just like I've tried to get better at reviewing guitars. I'll listen to what you guys kind of want to hear and what you're expecting out of the review. And I try to do the best job I can possibly do. Again, I want to be the best review channel on YouTube. And I don't think you're going to find a more detailed review on this guitar anywhere. No one's going to do it. No one's going to break the guitar down and go over every little aspect like we did here tonight. If you found this helpful and you like the long, detailed reviews and more than just a guy sitting down for 15 minutes plugging away and giving you an affiliate link to purchase it, let me know. Say, man, been watching your channel for a long time, love your reviews, or if you're new, just found your channel, dude, you do an awesome review. And if you don't think so, tell me what I need to do to get better. That's what it's about. Guys, I want to thank anyone that gave us a super chat. That's what funds the channel. It also allows us to buy instruments to give away. This month's guitar giveaway is a Gretsch HH configuration in purple. If you want to enter to win the Gretsch, which has a $319 retail price or map price, it's not retail, retail's $5 something. But map price $319, and it also comes with a gig bag, a Gator gig bag at that. All you have to do is be publicly subscribed to the channel. That means go down and hit the subscribe button. While you're down there, hit the like button. And also go to Discord and say, yes, I want to be entered into the guitar giveaway in the guitar giveaway room. And that's all you got to do to enter. What was Mr. Fats asking?
He wasn't asking. Mr. Fats said Avery's right. Guitar is very hard to learn and master at a higher level.
Yeah, I've been working on the mastering thing for 30 some years. I'm hoping that someday, I don't think no matter who you speak to, at whatever level they're at playing, there's always something that's frustrating them. They're like, if I could just get this, if I could, and then it's something else. And I think that's what's great about guitar. It doesn't matter how good you are or where you are. If you just started, there's always something that you can learn that's going to push your skill set. And I don't care if you've been playing 30 or 40 years or you just picked the guitar up. there's something, even if you're brand new, you can learn to play. There's simple songs that's going to push you to become better than pick a little more difficult song. There's no difference between that and someone that's been playing 30 years. They're just going to pick a little bit more difficult song than they learned last time. And we just continuously take this journey. But I don't think we ever get to the point where it's like, yep, I got it. I got this. I don't think that happens. I think we as guitar players, we are our own worst critic. We look at our playing and we go, wow, I missed a lot of notes there. I missed a lot of notes here. Don't be so hard on yourself. Remember why we picked it up to start with. We picked it up to get women. I mean, to get better at playing guitar. It's one of those things, you know. When I was in school, I wasn't very popular. And like I just said, I picked up the guitar thinking that I would get in a certain social group and I would play. That was my sole reason behind picking up the guitar. But then I realized that guitar players are usually out-of-the-box thinkers. We're very creative. We're artistic. You know, we don't necessarily view things and work on things like most people. You have to have a different mindset, and you have to be constructive and creative to be a guitar player. It really does help. The more creative and artistic you are and constructive, the more you're going to love playing guitar, because there's so much that you can do, whether you get into music theory and you write complicated stuff, or you just sit down and write grooves and you're just grooving through the music. There's something for everyone being a musician. All right, guys, if you haven't already, please go down, hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It takes a tremendous amount of work to do these videos. And I want to, again, I want to say thanks to Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia, for graciously allowing me to take this guitar home and do a completely unbiased review of a Cortex Cort guitar. If you haven't picked up a Cort, I would suggest you go and play one. They have price points all the way down from $350 all the way up to $2,000. They probably have a guitar that would fit your budget, okay? And it's made by a quality manufacturer. Cortex is a quality manufacturer. They are the world's largest guitar manufacturer. So do yourself a favor, go play one. You might be surprised. This guitar shocks me. It shocks me at how versatile it is. All right, guys, please go down, leave a comment, and we're going to do our 5-minute ending window. Again, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, and let me know what I need to do to improve this channel so we can get more people watching. That's what it's about. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and hopefully see you guys Saturday night for our next live show. We go live every Thursday, every Saturday, and then usually one other night through the week. So it's usually 3 nights a week you'll see something from us. All right, guys, 5-minute ending window. Thank you so much, and thanks for everyone that gave a super chat.